I am leaving here and I'm going somewhere else. And I don't recommend anybody else come to Tanzania at all. Like, if you want to stay here just to touch ground in Africa, you know, then yeah, come to TZ to get that continent out of your system first time dropping down. You know, do it. But after that, it's a no for me. It's a no, and I feel like it should be a no for everybody else until they get their stuff together.
Reasons on why I left Tanzania and why I'm not going back. First thing that I didn't like is the immigration process. When I went to Tanzania, I already imprinted it in my brain that you're allowed to, from the research that I've done, that you're allowed to have 3 months there and then get extensions, which is a 30-day extension. It's supposed to be 2 30-day extensions for free. But once I got to the immigration, they had us wait there for 5 hours after telling us they could give us that time period, and we only got 2 weeks. After waiting 5 hours, we got a 2-week extension. So I had to maneuver myself from there, and it was just not pretty for me. I left the immigration office like literally in tears because I was just like, it's just this, I pick up on vibrations and energy, and it just like the immigration people just felt like they don't want me here. You know, for whatever reason, whatever judgment they had of me, I don't think they want us as expats there. You know, and that's just the honest truth, you guys. Like, they were laughing at me while I was crying. Like, it was just not fun. And maybe it was just the immigration officers that I dealt with, but it was just like, okay, yeah. So I left in tears because, you know, I had been there for about a month, and at first, you know, it felt like Tanzania was going to be good for me, but after that was like one of the first negative experiences for me there. But yeah, I thought I could, you know, stay there a little bit longer just to feel it out.
So the visa process, getting the multi-entry visa, is useless if you don't go all the way back home. And who has money to keep traveling all the way back home to the United States every 90 days? That's ridiculous. Even if it's every 4 months, because you can get an extension. Absolutely not. And the second thing is, okay, let's just say you don't mind doing that, or you just want to go to Kenya and stay there longer than a couple days. You got to stay there for like a week or 2 for them to think that you're exploring, you know, and you come back. Okay, so let's just say you're okay with doing that. Then you'll have to get a business and then apply for residency, because you cannot apply for residency without a business. That's the crazy thing. That's crazy to me. So they basically hound you down to be a business partner in their land, and then let's just say you're okay with doing that, which I was okay. Now, for you to buy land, unless you marry a Tanzanian man or woman, you cannot own land unless you have another Tanzanian on the land and getting a percentage. And you only get to keep the land for 99 years. That's weird.
Two is the culture. I just couldn't vibe with the culture. I felt judged 50% of the time, you know, and I just couldn't be myself. And that's just the bottom line. Like, whatever they believe in and whatever they thought of me is not even the problem. The problem is I could just never be myself. I work out a lot. I wear a lot of compression outfits. I wear, you know, things that to a very, very modest person, you just, even at my most modest, you just like gonna, you know, give me these looks if you're a judgmental type of person. So I felt judged half of the time, and I didn't like that.
I don't like that. So I'm just like, you know what? I am 32. I'll be 33 in December 25th. I am getting older. I want to settle. I want my kids to grow up in the house, stay in the house. We have a foundation. We're planting, we're gardening. I want to teach them that so when they get older, they plant, they garden. They don't rely on, even though the kids, they're going to do their own thing, but I want them to learn the foundation, So, it is sickening. I just got a awakening, and it's divine speaking to me like, yeah, you like this was your first country. That means it wasn't for you to stay. And you came back without your husband. And you should have listened the first time. So, yes, I should have. And he should have not let me.
Never fit in. And I've been me all my life. This is me. And I'm always changing and growing. But who I am at the core, I can't change. So if I can't vibe with the culture and I feel judged by the culture half the time, it's just not going to work long term for me. So that's one of the bigger reasons why I left too.
Because again, their electric is always going in and out daily. If you need a job, if you're working online, that is not it. Yes, you can get a generator. Yes, you can get solar panels. So that's fixable. Everything is fixable. You can always find a solution, especially me. I'm a solutionist. I like to find the solution. If there's a problem, I find a solution. So it's just about staying here and figuring out what to do after your 90 days. So you only really have 3 options. Go back to the United States, come back, go out of the country, inside somewhere else in the continent, stay for longer than a week or longer than 5 days. And 3, start a business and apply for residency. And starting a business, you need to have, I think, $10,000 in your bank account. Even if you don't need $10,000 in your bank account, you still need a good amount. You need to follow the rules on starting a business, which is not just a little bit of money, okay? And you actually have to
and number 3,
you can't just say, okay, I'm
the
starting
other reason why I left is
don't really have one that's operating. Unless you can, and if you can, that'll be easy.
Expats,
but then you have to pay like $1,000 for residency.
I met a guy, he was there from Europe. He had a business in Europe, but he lived in Atlanta. He's from Atlanta. I was like, oh, hey, what's up? Come to find out, like, he was like bragging about how, he can get certain favors from a girl in the community for little to nothing. And I don't mean sexual favors, but he was just bragging. And that's what he kind of like hinted at, but I didn't want to assume. But, I think guys sometimes come to exploit white and black guys come there to exploit the community if they know like they can get a lot for little to nothing, from whether it's company, sex, whatever, like they know this, so they go there to sometimes exploit. So being that I met some cool expats that were males too, but a lot of them had relationships, so the couples that I met, like the girls that I met in the couple, like we just never vibed, we never clicked, because people usually like to hang out with people who have lifestyles that are similar to theirs, So being that I'm single and these people are married, like we don't have anything to talk about and vibe about and, discuss, like besides Pan-Africanism or, any other interest that I have. But the main thing is their lifestyle is different, completely different from mine. So
yes, my name is Golden Boy, and I'm really grateful that I'm at the end of the video. So I want to say that one of the struggles that many of Black Americans, women especially, I'm just women, is that they have a lot of issues when they come to Africa. And mostly I have come to realize that many issues comes when they visit Tanzania, Gambia, and Ghana, and even Nigeria. So those are the most of the parts that I will always be majoring on in this channel. And it is very, very unfortunate that you heard what these two ladies experienced, especially when they visited Tanzania. One of the issues is issues with immigrants officials, another one is culture, and another one wants to buy land here in Tanzania. So I just want to say that there are a lot of things that we need to discuss in this video, and I just want to dive in and give you some of the exclusive plus what other Black Americans have experienced when they visited Tanzania. So I believe that we are going to jump in this video right now. I can say that as a Kenyan person, I can strongly advise other African Americans or the Black Americans that to learn that Africa is a continent, not a country. And I also have seen that African Americans who come to any African country trying to avoid, to hold on to being devalued to only a skin color like African American, or using a Black American as an identifier is not truly searching. To adapt to African culture, the culture of their ancestors who are taken from the continent of Africa. So I want to say that Africans and Black Americans, or the African Americans, these are two different people who I have always said that they are two different people. Like this, the Black Americans are these people who were taken from Africa, and then their parents, like their ancestors, were taken from Africa, and then they found themselves in America due to what? Slavery that happened in some other years. Then there's these Africans who have been there, who have been in Africa for, like their ancestors are in Africa, and they have been living here and have cultures of Africa. Yet these two groups are the same people. Now I heard that someone who is saying that one of his struggles is that is through food, that he just can't eat African food, that by losing therefore I've been losing weight, which I'm just now getting under control. That it is itself can really cause you to throw in the towel because it affects your health. When coming to Africa or any other country, you have to be wise and use your gut instinct. I really can't say anymore, but I've said that enough. So this person hates eating African food, and because of that reason, he has been losing weight for now. Now there's someone here who also said that he went to Tanzania, and it has been a year now since they left Tanzania. Like you are absolutely right that about immigration, they are disgusting. So many of us have left and to start all over elsewhere. It is sad because this isn't what we expected at the same time, and we didn't expect anything. So many people, some who have never traveled, they have, oh well, if you don't like it, there are many Africans on the continent. Now what they don't realize is that there are levels to the mindset of the people. So Tanzania is a place where if you live to a life with morals, that's not the place glad I left. So a family member stayed but travels back and forth. However, I've been to many other countries who are extremely welcoming. They will see you, they will see one day the truth. They will see that the people who they impress are not there for the best interest of the locals. One day they will mean it's put off. Now I go there and I just stayed. So this person who will say that left Tanzania because of morals. Like if you can't keep your morals, if you can't follow their cultures, then you will not survive in Tanzania. Yes, when you are in Tanzania, there's something that I need to tell you, that long path residents is long path residents. You can't stay in Tanzania for more than 3 months. You can't stay. And some, like the lady was saying, that if you try to extend, you can't be given that an extension of that much. They can give you an extension of two weeks. Now, like this guy who was saying that the reason why he never went to Tanzania was specifically because of there was no path to long-term residence. Like planning to stay for a year or longer, it couldn't be in Tanzania. That was the end that thought. But Tanzania was the first place that caught my imagination. So he ended up in one of the things that you need to know about Tanzania is that when they see someone, they sense straight away you are not from there, so that right that intimidates them and wants to mistreat you. So Tanzania, this person who was speaking that is from Tanzania, British, is a Tanzania Britain, and he said that I speak fluent Swahili, was born there, my British passport does say Tanzanian born. So same as my mom, but the struggle we get when we want to extend our visa. Don't get me started. When I go to the shops, soon as I speak Swahili, they know my Swahili is not local. So for some reason, this makes them increase the prices. So I have always have to tell someone to go to the shop with. I was walking in the street one day and I heard people shouting, money, money, money. I can't have some money to say all this. Tanzania is a very beautiful country, but the people there, man, it's put off now. When I go there, so it is not that Tanzanian people that, it is not them only that when they see you, they increase prices. But it is not happening in Tanzania too, but it is happening in most of the African countries. Like I can say that even if you go to Kenya, me personally, if I see you are a black American, I cannot lie to you that I'm not going to increase prices, because I always believe that you have money. Yes, and where you come from, there's money. Another thing that I need to say that, why do you always talk, why always that the black Americans always speak about Dar es Salaam? Does Tanzania only have one county, Dar es Salaam? Why don't you speak about other counties in Tanzania? So most of the foreigners always refuse to move around to other cities and explore Tanzania. So it's very, very sad that to see when they leave, they will say negative things about Tanzania as a whole country. And yes, when you come, but when you move to other cities, I think that you don't see. If you feel that Tanzania, Dar es Salaam is a place that you can't live, it has some negative value to your life, then why don't you try to extend to other cities? No, I know that you will say that I need to talk about the migrations, like extension of visa. But why that you always talk about Dar es Salaam? Now, one of the things that I thought that I should know, that the reason why the Tanzanians are making that restrict, they are trying to give you an extension, or they are trying to give that restriction of an extension to visa, is because they always feel that when the black Americans come to their country, they feel that they will bring the Western mindset in their country. And that's one of the reasons why they have always tried to be very, very strict. Like I can say that if you were born under the colonized system, then they believe that when you come to their country, you'll bring that colonized mindset. So like I can say that if you want to be free, but Africa is a developing country, the last and only place in the world that must keep its land. They're angry for business. They're sick and tired of being taken advantage of by Westerns. So that's why they feel that, no, if you come to my country, like this lady was trying to say that he wanted to buy land in Tanzania. And I can tell you that you can't buy land in Africa right now, because especially if you are trying to buy land of that, do you know there are two types of land? There's one that is owned by the government, and there's one that is owned by the custom. It is a customary land, which means that this is a land that can be inherited by the family members, and it is always bought or sold by the local chiefs. So be very, very careful on which land you want to buy. Now I can say that so as one of, it's seen that someone who has nothing to offer to help build them if you don't come with a business plan. So I do agree with your thinking that allowing the Chinese and Indians to come in more is not a good thing. They should listen to us when we tell them this is because we recognize colonization better than anyone on the planet. So let's dive into India. The Indians in the East Africa have been there for centuries. They are 5 to 6 generation settlers. So they have never even stepped India. That's their home. They belong there. The Chinese are marrying East Africans now in record speed. so as to be able to secure land, open business, and eventually obtain citizenships in Africa. So you say you have a Senegal finance, yeah, why don't you go and live in Senegal? So this is a lady who was trying to say that he was trying to buy land in Tanzania. Now, usually people find a partner in countries they want to settle in. Yeah, I've seen that Chinese lady was married to African lady. African man got married to Chicago lady or American lady. It is just intermarriaging is currently happening at higher speed, but most of the Africans have realized that these intermarriages always happen so that this guy can have citizenship, and in that citizenship she can be able or he can be able to buy land in Africa. So that's why they say that usually you find people having partners in their country they want to settle in. So when you come from Kenya and you live in Europe, so you have a dual citizenship. So I can say that in Europe, as long as you want to stay in Kenya for as long, it is great, but going to Kenya for holidays next week, so this someone was trying to say that. Then let's dive into this lady who was saying that my advice as an African, please come back to the US and prepare yourself. Prepare yourself. You don't want to put yourself in a situation, then you'll get out of control. I beg you to return to the United States. If us Africans can come to the US and step by step make wealth and build in Africa, you can all do the same by going back to the US and then settle, find a situation, then you try to build yourself here in Africa. So you are someone who is an US citizenship, you go back, you came to Africa and find a problem, then you just have to go back to US, then you find step by step on how you can be able to come back to Africa and build yourself. Is that happening? It is just the same way that an African person can go to the US or to Canada and find himself very well, so that find a solution on how he can be able to build back in their home. So I beg you to return to the US. If you as an African can come to the US and step by step make wealth and build in Africa, then you can also do the same thing. So say like we can say like South Africa or Namibia, Botswana, or even better choices. But again, prepare yourself. 32 years old, you can do nothing in the US. You'll get money, and then Botswana, Namibia, South Africa, who need nothing can give you the working visas, which opens ways to permanent residence. So I'm talking about the second lady who said that he wanted to buy land, who said he wanted to get to build in Africa because she thought that she's growing older and she wants to settle in Tanzania. Like I say that buying land in Tanzania is not, especially in Africa, it is very, very difficult. It is very, very difficult for you, by the way. So I want to tell you that when will we learn that land should never be colonized or owned? When it is an ecosystem and belongs to all the inhabitants. And I do mean all creatures, great and small, not just the self. So remember those that spread the ideas of land ownership and monetization of the whole thing also split communities by splitting up contiguous land masses into smaller, claimable or ownable little parcels you have now accepted as a country. Yeah, but put flag on it and you can consider yourself special and even different from those across the border. So constant conflict, wars, and the need to enforce paid peace, governments and taxes, defense spreading, you get the gist. So we need to wake up right now. Yes, I had on those in this video. I wanted to say that in Tanzania, many women, mostly black women, have really experienced negativity about living in Tanzania. They have a negative, bad experience in Tanzania. So like the lady said, if you feel that you have an extension, your visa is expiring, I don't think if they usually they usually renew the visas in Tanzania. But I don't also think that you can be given much extension to live in Tanzania. Like you can be adding another 3 months. I had a video here, like there's a lady who tried to get an extension. Now they always give you two choices. Either you pay a fine of $300 or $600. Then after paying that $300 or $600, they either chase you out of their country or they give you an extension. So that's how they always do it. But I found that the best part you can do is moving out of that country, then you go and stay in another country for 2 to 3 weeks, then you come back as a new person. Yes, so that's how they usually do it. Now I'm not having much to say in this video. I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful that you clicked on this video again, and see you in another video. My name is Golden Boy. Subscribe here.